Hello everybody. I thought I'd give you a bit of a January plot tour today, show what I'm doing and what I'll be doing over this month and where crops and things are up to at the moment. I just want to quickly spin you around and show you quickly the allotment site. Okay, starting at my pond there, I'll go up into the next plot and I'll just move around slowly, and you can see most of the site for me. This site is fairly small, it's only about 40 plots. But the great thing about today, as I spin round, and that's all the way around back down to my plot, what you haven't seen is people. There's nobody here, absolutely nobody. And this is fairly typical for winter running down here. There's a guy over there who's got chickens who comes down daily. He's just gone home. My mate Andy here, he might be down today, he was down yesterday. But apart from that, don't see anybody down there. Now that's great for me because I love a natter and I will talk to the people as they come down. But at this time of year, it means I can get work done. And it's a shame these people don't come down because they can get their winter jobs done and get ahead before the spring, which is what I'm planning to do this month. Now, there's no doubt about it, I am a messy gardener and there's a lot to sort out here in the front. This is the production plot. This is where all the vegetables and things are grown. The flowers are beyond the polytunnels at the back. We'll get to that eventually. But for now, what I need to do is tidy up down here just so that I can go and concentrate on the back area and the tunnels and just leave this front area to look after itself. I can harvest when need to or support when need to, and then get ready to plant when need to because it'll all be ready. So very briefly, very quickly, is my multi-sown leeks. They haven't fared brilliantly this winter. They are looking a bit manky, but if you peel a layer or two off, there's perfectly good leek under there. So we are going to start seriously munching our way through these now as we start into the stir fries of the mustards and stuff that's in the tunnels. This bed and the leek bed are the only two that haven't been topped up since I made them. You can see that's quite low there, and over on this side there's a pile of compost under that black plastic. That's going to fill this up and this will be ready for spring. Now, because that's new compost going in there, and especially as it's green waste compost, very high in nitrogen levels, green waste compost. So planting in there will be lettuces this year, certainly for the first crop, maybe even the second or third even as well, we'll see. But it's going to be very high in nitrogen, so I've got to bear that in mind. This grew me beans and peas last year. In the next bed up, purple sprouting broccoli. These have now done your normal sort of winter fall down and carry on growing upright, so these now need supporting. You can see what I mean by that here. There's a few people comment on it. They sort of bend over at right angles. That's fairly normal, nothing wrong with that. In here, my kales, these ones at the front, they're a bit ropey looking now, so we'll pick our way through those. And at the back there's a dwarf green. I'll probably just leave that, it seems to be doing all right, and we'll pick that late. In the next bed, this is one that I filled up at the end of the summer last year, filled it up with more compost, and then in this place that's now gone, we planted lettuce, and I've got cauliflowers and cabbage. Most of the cabbage are gone now or over, so they'll be coming out. The cauliflowers will stay in, see if we get something off them. And then this is the carrot area. Many of you will know this, and these frames are going to move down onto this bed simply because carrots have been in that bed for 2 years now and I don't want to build up a pest, if any, so I'll move them down for that reason. And also because the nitrogen has come out of this bed for the greens that have grown in this last 6 months. So that will help and aid the carrots so I don't just get all foliage and no roots. So hopefully moving it down one will aid that. Where the carrots are now, I'm not sure what I'm doing in there yet. But the next one up, I've topped this bed up as well at the end of the summer. I've got broad beans in that box at the back there, they're doing fine. The box will come off as it starts to warm up. The plants will be supported then I can use the box elsewhere. When the broad beans are out, sweet corn will go in this bed. I'm moving it down from this bed. Now in here we've got a mix of, there's some turnips in here and some radish. Yeah, it's looking a bit ropey, but there is food in there, so I'm not just going to dig it over and compost it. We'll get what food out we can. And in here we've got broccoli rabe in here, so again looking a bit ropey. We might get a crop, we'll see what happens. Now go back over here. Last of the sprouts in these beds. These we picked this weekend, and this bed tidied, ready. These beds here, these 4, were new last year. Not putting any more compost on them at all. Onions are going to be going over here. Onions and shallots. Don't bother sowing me shallots till about the end of Feb. Don't want them going over or running to seed, so I'll do them at the end of Feb. There's the bronze shallots, of course. Spring cabbage here. I might put some of these on, move them elsewhere, we'll see. I've got garlic in this one, elephant garlic at the back, and then normal garlic, which is just poking its way through. They've been planted quite a long time, and they've taken some time to come up. The last of the Asian greens in this bed. This is Mizuna, a green and a red one. We'll start picking over this and get this out into stir fries. And like this tatsoi, they look a bit funny, but when you sort of peel them apart, you can see the leaves and stems in there, and you eat all of it. So that's good for a stir fry. And this will be another bed for onions and shallots. That's what's going over here. Is all alliums this year in these 4 beds, mostly. Pond is looking fabulous, and on those really still days, like today actually, every now and again you see a little bit of movement of water. You know there's stuff in there living now, and those planters that I put in there with some of the oxygenating weeds, you can see now they've pretty much filled the pond up. And of course the big bug ben, the big ben or bug ben as I call it, that's done very well. I've seen lots of creepy crawlies around that through the seasons. I'm very happy with that. Ding dong. Into the first of my 3 tunnels. This is the big one, the main one, the engine room if you like, and it's still full to the rafters with plants. Plenty of the tatsoi here and a few spring onions. A lot of lettuce here. This is doing really well. And a couple of beds of carrots, pak choi, and there's even cauliflower and cabbage up the far end. Some kale there. More lettuce down here. And in here we've got fennel. And just coming into sight there, you can't really see very well. The Chinese cabbage hasn't done very well again, as I expected. But the fennel is doing really well, and that's a lovely addition there. They may bulb up yet, I'm doubtful, but the foliage, the feathery foliage, is lovely in a stir fry or a salad. So very happy with that. And I might investigate that more through the season this year, simply for that reason. So there's a better look up here. Again, this all needs tidying up in here, and it's a wet day job. Apparently we're having heavy rain tomorrow, so I might be in here tidying and cleaning up, getting rid of all these lower leaves that are yellowed on here. Just generally give it a tidy in a good water. Hasn't had a water since the middle of December in here. Up top on the hanging shelf, this hanging shelf is just here to keep pests away and at bay, to keep them out the range of slugs and mice and things. So we've got a few spring onions, and then a lot of flowers. We've got ranunculus in these pots coming through, antirrhinums, these are snapdragons, some herbs, and I think these are fig plants, these. Yeah, I think they're figs. There's some grasses there, some Brisa maxima. Some more flowers, haven't done too well there. Olea grandiflora. A few sweet peas, the rest are at home. Ami majors, sweet rocket. And down on the floor here we have cornflowers. A lot of these need to go outside now and start to be hardened off. The microgreens now are well and over really. Still a few more pickings on these carrots here, but the rest have really gone over now, but they've been remarkably good, and they lasted far longer than I thought they would. Very pleased with them in all. So these two beds in front of the small tunnel, I've got some news coming about them at the end of this month, maybe mid-month. I'm going the small tunnel, and we've got some spring cabbages down there, celeriac, some more lettuce, more Asian greens, the Mizuma, red streaks and green, and over here chard, and some more pak choi, tatsoi, and more chard. And these are the little collections of sowings I make just to get seedling plants out, like on the basis of like a cut and come again salad or stir fry. So they'll either grow or they won't. In these pots I've still got potatoes, the Sarpa Miras in there. They're ready to harvest whenever we need them. And in these trays are where I've stored all my dahlias over winter. I'll take them out, dry them out as best I can, get as much compost and soil off them, and then store them upside down and then cover them in compost, and that protects them against the winter. Now out of the back of the plot, this is where most of the work will be done this winter, so I've got to get my skates on really. There's a lot to do. This big bed here and the next one need digging over, and things are going to move here a little bit. This pathway is going to move over to right in the middle of this honesty patch, making this bed over here longer. It's about 13 foot now, and I want them about 16 foot long, because I'm installing more raised beds like I've got at the front, all the way down to the bottom there. So I'll get another 6 in there, and then if I can get round to it, hopefully at some stage through the year, I want a cold frame down the side of the tunnel there. We'll see. I've got so much on it, and I've got to prioritise, so we'll see. I do want that. We'll see where we get to. Right, we're going to have a look in this. This is the third tunnel, the new one. So we'll go into the third tunnel. This is the new one, and although it's new, it's still not finished. I finished it to this stage earlier last year. And I actually grew crops in here. I had sweet corn, tomatoes, aubergines, I think in here, and a few cucumbers. Can't quite remember now, but I had a lot of crops in here. All these boards down here, these all need painting. They've all been washed, cleaned. When I got them, they're recycled from somebody's deck who was getting rid of it up near where I live. So they've all been recycled along with these few bits down here. They all need painting because they're going to build the raised beds that I was just speaking about out there on the plot. So that's a wet day job, and that's why the pallets are down on the soil, ready for me to paint a board, move it over, let them dry. So I'll get that done. All these boxes I've been collecting off neighbours or deliveries we've had ourselves. I've been collecting them over the winter since the end of since the end of autumn really, and they're all going to be going down in the beds when I turn them into no dig beds in this coming spring. In the trug there, I've got some carnation plants that were kindly given to me, so they need potting on and sorting out for this year for carnations. Of course, and there's a pile of timber and rubbish down here. So things that need to be done in here yet, I need a proper threshold down here, so I need to put a great big chunk of wood in the bottom there so these doors match, and then I can put the door furniture on, which are the latches and the bolts. Over on that side we've got a wind up curtain, which is that there. Already got the netting in place. Need to put that up so you've got wind up and wind down curtain for ventilation. The same with the other door, the door furniture and the threshold needs to go on there. And then down this side I want to put a temporary bench in. Any of you who've watched the channel before know what I mean. It will be a bench that fits in this area, so 2 foot wide, the full length of the tunnel, and or mostly full length of the tunnel, and they will lift up out of the way so that the bed underneath can be used. So that will be coming very soon. And in this big pot here is a fig, and that's going to be planted there or grow there, and grow up this side of the tunnel, filling this area. So that's roughly where I'm at now. I only spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours most days down here in the mornings. I just come down for a little bit of time and then go off home and do other things. So over the course of about a week, I think, out there, it'll take me to sort of tidy up and top the beds up, and then I can leave that alone. I don't need to worry about it until it comes time to start planting in the spring. And that's good. It's a weight off in mind. It means I can work on these tunnels backwards to the plot out the back and get those jobs done. Now I've got the choice of I can dig over beds ready to get the new beds in, or if it's a rainy day, I can use this real estate, all my polytunnels, to go in and start painting those planks or ripping crops out of here, digging over beds, making adjustments, whatever I need to do. But on a wet day, I don't need to turn up or not bother turning up because it's raining. I can come down and get on with some jobs, and that's vitally important. Every time you come down, you do a little bit of something. Even if it's just tidying up a little corner, it's something less to do the next time you come down. That's vitally important at this time of the year. So anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you've got a good idea of what I'm doing over the next couple of months, and I'll see you all very soon. Look after yourselves, everyone. Stay safe. Ta-ra now.